Hey there, obviously I'm back with another tier list. I guess that's what I do nowadays. I went from doing content discussions to tier lists, but yeah, obviously last week I did the tier list for pretty much Dungeoneering bosses, and now I'm here to do the tier list for the puzzle rooms, because, you know, if I did the bosses, I guess I gotta do the puzzle rooms as well, because they are pretty much the only other factor in the dungeons that actually can vary quite a lot and can actually change your times a lot and whatnot. So I'm here, I'm gonna rate, there's 40, I'm gonna rate all of them. There's only 5 that actually are floor specific, so I guess that's good. But yeah, I'm gonna rate them, and I'm gonna rate them on, well, vibes, I guess. I'm just gonna rate them on things that I find honestly interesting, you know, so essentially I'm gonna rate them on if they're fast, if they're slow, if they're easy to do, if they're a bit cumbersome, or, you know, if they're annoying, or if they just look cool, I guess, you know, if the idea is there. It's just, essentially it's vibes, it's fucking vibes, it's what I'm gonna like fucking have them all on. So yeah, I have 40 puzzle rooms, let's get into it. First up being ice tiles. Now this is actually specific to frozen floors, you cannot find ice tiles anywhere else. Now ice tiles are a pretty just easy puzzle, you just have tiles that you need to go into, that you need to click, or I guess stand on to like press them, and yeah, the floor is ice, so you slide around. That's pretty much it. It's a pretty simple puzzle, it's a pretty, you know, known puzzle for RuneScape, with the exception of the fact that this puzzle is fun, although when you're grinding floors, thankfully it's not that common, I would say. It's a pretty rare puzzle to get, but I mean, all of the floor specific puzzles are pretty rare to get, I would say. But yeah, so essentially the ice tiles, you know, it's fun to do. I think it's just a little nice puzzle. I think that ice tiles are a puzzle in every sense of the word. Unfortunately, once you get the Eurasian outfit, you no longer slide on, you know, ice, meaning that this puzzle becomes not a puzzle anymore, and it's just a room where you go in, you step on the plates, and you're good to go because you don't slide, so it becomes incredibly easy, as the only difficulty of the puzzle is removed. Other than that, I mean, again, it's a really fun puzzle, but I mean, that, while it does take away the puzzle aspect of it, at least it makes it really fast. You know, this goes from being a, you know, puzzle that is moderately fast, depending on how fast you can think of the solution, to a puzzle that is just fast. So I can't blame it too much. Honestly, all in all, it's the quintessential puzzle, and after the aggression outfit you don't even need to grind it anymore, so I can't even like complain about the fact that it's slow to do when you're grinding the skill. So honestly, all in all, dream scenario, S tier. Next up we have the Seeker Sentinel. So this is essentially the puzzle where there's an eye in the middle of the room that, you know, goes on a like clockwise rotation, and there's seekers, and you need to like eat the seekers in order to just go through the room. It's a decent puzzle, nothing that I would necessarily enjoy too much. I guess it's fun, it doesn't take a lot to get over it either, so there's that. But yeah, honestly, it can become a bit annoying to wait for the seekers, but again, it's an incredibly easy puzzle, it's incredibly fast. I like the concept, the execution is I guess. Again, it's not a very slow puzzle, it's kind of fast, so on that I'm gonna give it a B tier. Next up we have Sleeping Guards. So far this is the frozen floor puzzle. This is the abandoned floor, and this is the furnished floor puzzle. Sleeping Guards, essentially, I like the idea of the puzzle. Unfortunately, as obviously you start grinding the skill, it becomes a bit just like any other puzzle. So essentially it becomes, or rather like any other guardian room, where you just go in, the guards awake, you kill them all, you pick up the keys, and you're good to go. And on that regard, it's a bit slower than guardian rooms, so unfortunately, while I like the idea, you know, of just sort of stepping around and not making too much noise to get the keys, if you want to do it fast and if you want to grind, you're not gonna be doing that much. So, you know, I'm gonna give it a C tier. Next up we have the sliding tile, so, you know, the fucking, what's it called? I forget the names of these puzzles, but essentially it's sliding tiles, you know, you just slide tiles around with one tile missing. It's the thing they do for Monkey Madness 1, like clue scrolls and the puzzle boxes they get from clue scrolls, the sliding puzzle boxes. It's essentially that. It's incredibly easy because you can't actually make mistakes, as if you try and move a tile that you, or that would complicate the puzzle, I guess, the game doesn't allow you. So essentially the entire puzzle is just, well, you just fucking do it. You know, just click on the tiles and it gets done pretty easily. Although it's not that hard of a sliding puzzle, because it's literally a 3x3. And 3x3 sliding puzzles are incredibly easy. You can easily solve one in less than 10 seconds, and I'm not joking. So yeah, these are puzzle rooms that are very much a non-factor. Honestly, in a way, okay, maybe not. Maybe I wouldn't want them to be more complex, because you do have to grind a skill. But in a way, I do think that these puzzles are so easy to the point where it almost becomes a non-factor. So yeah, like getting this puzzle, you just click the tiles while you're moving to the door. It's incredibly fast and whatnot. So hey, on that regard, it's pretty good. I like these types of puzzles as well, so I'm gonna put it in S tier. Next up we have sliding statues. So these are the statues that are in a specific position, and then you have to move the statues below around, or on the southern part around, in order to match the northern side. Overall, I kinda dislike the puzzle. It's very slow overall. It takes like easy 50 seconds for it to complete sometimes, if not more, depending on the position of the statues and everything, especially because enemies can actually block your way, which is annoying as fuck. Honestly, like, you're trying to move a statue and the enemy just sitting there, not cool. Or, you know, sometimes the statues are too far away. So, because here you don't have like a strong push thing like you have in some other parts of the game. I forget like what parts of the game have it, but I know there's some puzzles in the game that you need to push stuff, that you can like right click and like strong push fucking pillars and whatnot, right? So it actually moves multiple tiles in a row. Here you have to move tile by tile, which gets really annoying. Usually this is one of the types of rooms that I tend to skip in a dungeon, unless I, you know, have a puzzle room that I don't have the level to, and I can't be fucked to be making a potion, or essentially just another puzzle room that might even be worse than this one. But yeah, overall, sliding statues, I like the idea, but even then, it's not a very hard puzzle to figure out, so it's an F tier. Next up we have 3 statues, and yes, we have a lot of statue puzzles. Essentially, this is the puzzle where you have the 3 statues, one representing each combat style, and you have one statue that doesn't have the weapon for that combat style, and you have to mine a little block and then equip that statue with that combat style. Pretty quick puzzle, not much to it. It's honestly, as far as puzzle goes, this is the I guess, you know, just potatoes and the fucking like carrots of it all. Is just like a very bland puzzle, so I'm gonna give it a D tier. No, a D tier, there we go. Next up we have 10 statues, or I guess less depending on your complexity, as they can range from 3 to 5 on each side. So one side will have a bunch of you know, armed statues, on the other side they will only be unarmed, and essentially you need to check which weapons the statues have, and on the other side you know, equip them with a weapon that would be the strong style, because it's another like combat triangle thing where it's like, oh yeah, you know, like the other statue has a sword and you equip with a staff because magic is stronger to melee, right? It's essentially the combat triangle. Honestly, it takes a bit longer than just equipping a normal statue, because you need to equip usually 3 if you're alone, 4 or 5 depending on your team size. So overall, again, it's kind of bland and it takes a little bit longer, but it also doesn't take too long, so I'm gonna give it a D tier. Next up we have Follow the Leader. I actually dislike this puzzle quite a lot. Essentially the puzzle, you step on a pressure plate and you have to essentially just copy the statue of what the statue did. I dislike this puzzle for several reasons. One, if you haven't cleared the enemies in the room, the enemies will actually interrupt your chat box, meaning that you can't actually click on the emote, meaning you will get damaged, and you get damaged by like 2 and 3Ks. No, I don't know why everything in Dungeoneering, like whenever you fail, you just get damaged by like 2 and 3K. Why is that? Like, I don't understand why Jagex said that was a good idea. I legitimately don't understand. You just randomly, sometimes especially when it comes to skilling doors, you just fail and you just get, you know, hit by 3k damage, and it's like, cool, not on my power, but I guess, right? So you usually have to clear the, like, essentially Follow the Leader is a puzzle room and a garden room in that sense, and even then, when it's cleared, you only have 5 emotes to copy, and then you're gonna have to sit there, watch the emote, copy the emote, wait a little bit until the statue says correct, and then you have to repeat that 2 more times, so you have to do that 3 times in total. It's just overall not fun, I think. Honestly, this is the type of puzzle that I always skip. I just do not enjoy doing it. And to make matters worse, usually if you are in a team, you need multiple people, because this is the type of puzzle that you can't do solo. You have to actually have other people with you. So overall, just it's an F tier. An F tier? There we go. Next up we have levers. Speaking of puzzles that are, you know, required to do with a team if you have other people with you. If you are solo, you can push all the levers solo because you have enough time, but if you are with, for example, 2 people, you need to divide the levers, 3 people, same thing, and yeah, it gets a bit, I guess, annoying, but I mean, honestly, it's not as annoying as following the leader. Overall, though, it's not a puzzle that I enjoy too much, and it damages you a lot, and honestly, a timed puzzle in RuneScape with other players, not my favorite. So yeah, there's also one, this gets an F tier. Next up we have a flip tile. So these are the tiles, the magical tile things that you have. Essentially, it's those puzzles where you click on one thing and like they flip like the things around them. So, you know, you always have to, like, you sort of have to figure out a pattern to flip them all at the same time, because you can't flip one at a time. I mean, technically here you can, and thank fuck you can, because quite honestly, this puzzle would be really annoying without. So yeah, it's that puzzle. I guess the puzzle's fun, but when you're grinding the dungeon, who gives a fuck about that? I'm gonna be completely honest. Most of the times I just flip a lot of tiles, and then when I have like 3 left, I just like force them and take some damage. Here you don't actually take that much damage, although there's a bit of delay in forcing tiles for some reason. I don't know why. There's like a tick delay where your character can't do anything for some reason. You just get like locked. But yeah, essentially, because of that, you know, it's not my favorite, but at the same time, it's not very offensive. It's also not very fast, but it's also not very slow. It's literally like in the middle of everything, I would say. So I'm gonna give it to the middle of the thing, so C tier. Next up we have Monolith, another puzzle that I just straight up skip. This puzzle, essentially you click on a monolith and sometimes ghosts spawn and they take down, so the monolith is charging over time and the ghosts attacking it take down the charging, so they make the monolith go from like 40% charge to like 20% or something, so you need to essentially defend the monolith. The problem is, if it gets to 0 because you were looking away or something, you have to restart the entire thing. To make matters worse, usually there's only 1 or 2 ghosts that spawn, so you just kill them and then you sit there and you just wait for like the next wave of ghosts to spawn, and that's it. So it's like there's not enough combat for it to be interesting, and you just spend way too much time just sitting there, and you can't like fully AFK it either, so you're just sort of in that weird middle ground of not interesting enough to AFK or not interesting enough to do combat and pay attention, but you also can't AFK it, and then you just literally locked like a minute of just waiting for the pillar to charge. And like this, contrary to many other puzzles here, like a lot of them depend on your speed on doing things. The monolith is not one of them. The monolith is just straight up like an auto-scroller in a dungeon, which makes it really bad, because you just sit there, you wait, and you're just sitting there waiting, and it takes like a minute. It's horrible, honestly. This puzzle, F tier. Next up we have ghosts. So ghosts are essentially, you know, when they are immune and you have to kill one of them, and then the soul like goes to another ghost and then you can damage that one. So essentially you can only damage the ghost that has like the soul until you kill them all, because it's a guardian room. I like the idea, but honestly it's just a slower guardian room, really, especially because you just blast through the ghosts anyway. So it's not very interesting, it's not very, I'll give it like, again, at the same time, it's not very slow. It takes like 20 seconds maybe to complete, so, you know, let's give it a C tier. Next up we have Suspicious Grooves. So these are the little 3 rows of like, there's a trap essentially, they're the grooves, and you need to like step on them to go over the trap, but you know, if you do and there's a trap, you take like 3k damage or something. Pretty fucking annoying puzzle, so you need to like right click and investigate the trap to see if there's any trap, and your investigation is super fucking slow. So depending on RNG, this puzzle can take 20 seconds or like what, 40 to 50 seconds. It's very RNG dependent, and it's not very engaging. You just literally click and, you know, you check trap. Oh, there's a trap here, okay, check this one, there's no trap, okay, I can step over it. Yeah, it's not very good, I would say. With that being said, it's also not the most offensive out of them all, but I don't think it's enough for D tier. Another F tier. Next up we have the light circles. So this is the puzzle where you have like the crystal thing in the middle and like you have lights going through like squares until the middle to light the fucking pillar, right? Essentially, and you have to like light all of the colors at the same time. It's that puzzle. I like the idea. The execution is, well, it's RuneScape, so you know. Usually, especially if you know what you're doing, it doesn't take long. This is the type of puzzle that, contrary to, you know, the Monolith, for example, or something, it's not very RNG dependent. So if you know what you're doing, you can do it fast, and I like that. So it is the type of puzzle that I enjoy. I find the puzzle cute. Honestly, it reminds me of 2009 RuneScape. I mean, the Dungeoneering did come out in 2010, so you know, but it reminds me of like that era of like RuneScape and like just overall internet where you would have these really weird, like very basic puzzle type games. So overall, it gets a B tier. Next up, the fucking toxic maze. Now, this maze essentially you have like pillars in the maze and you have like some doors. You have to go through them. It gets really fucking annoying after a while, especially when you're grinding the skill. Especially because you have a limited time to get to the center, and then if you don't, you just start getting damaged over time because of poison or something, because of like the gas or whatever of the maze. Not very fun, I would say, especially because, and I found out the hard way, you can't skip this puzzle, or like you can, but I don't know if you would want to, because technically you can just go to the door and just unlock the next room. Like, you don't need to get to the center of the puzzle in order to unlock the next room. Yeah, you can just like skip the puzzle that way. This is one of the few puzzles they can just like, if not the only one, that you can just actually skip while the puzzle is still active, and you never need to like quote-unquote complete a puzzle for you to get access to the other rooms. The problem is, if you do then want to like come back and do the puzzle, you're gonna have problems because yeah, you won't have time to get to the center and you'll just get damaged over time. It's not gonna be very fun, but yeah, overall, I do hate when this fucking puzzle makes you go to the middle because there's a key or something. Other than that, it gets a D tier. Next up, Pond Skaters. Now this is the one with the little bags in the water that open their mouths to reveal a key, and then you have to like fish the key from the right one. Honestly, it can be the best puzzle or the worst one depending on RNG. If you get into the room, they are usually in like their docks, you know, and you can like fish one. If you get lucky, which obviously there's 4 bags, you have like 1 in 4 chance of getting lucky. If you get lucky, this is like the fastest puzzle room you can do, because you just go in, click on the bag, next room. That's it. It's like one of the rooms you want to get. Except if you don't. If you don't get lucky, the bags will go to the middle and one will open its mouth, and then, you know, they lure you because, oh, it's going south, no, now it's going north, and you have to run around the room like crazy. Still, even after all the shenanigans, it's still not the type of puzzle that, you know, will annoy you too much or will take too long, and I really appreciate that. So, you know what, let's make the A tier have something in it, so A tier. Next up, the Food Ferret. Honestly, I like the idea. I don't like the fact that you need your own feathers, so most of the times when you get this puzzle you need to go back to base to buy feathers, just so you can, I mean, you know, like, if it's part of the puzzle, just make it have feathers by default. Like, I don't understand why you need your own feathers, because like no other puzzle requires specific things for them, like you don't require a specific item for them, so it's a bit weird. But regardless, yeah, so essentially you just fish, yeah, nice one English, like a fucking, man, the English language sometimes is so fucking stupid. But yes, you fish, and then you cook that fish, and then you throw it, and honestly, throwing fish looks pretty cool. But yeah, it's usually not very complicated. It does take some time because, again, you need to go buy some feathers and whatnot, and then you need to come back, and then you need to fish them, which is usually on the other side of the room for some odd fucking reason, because nothing can be two together, apparently. So yeah, overall, I like the whole vibe of it and whatnot. Honestly, it gets a B tier. Next up, because obviously we can't have enough ferrets, I guess, and this is a theme they'll notice with a lot of puzzles. A lot of them are just small changes from each other. So while the food ferret, you need to fish some fish, and then you need to cook it and then throw it to get it into a pressure plate. The colored ferrets, you actually just sort of chase them around, like you walk them around and they will run away from you, and you just need to lure them into squares. So it's just a bit different, but it's pretty much the same thing. I like the colored ferrets, I think they're fun, honestly. The puzzle sometimes can be a bit on the slower side most of the time, especially depending on the amount of ferrets that are outside or how far away they are from their own squares. But yeah, honestly, B tier. Next up we have the magical construct. So this puzzle essentially has a golem like missing an arm, a leg, or a head, and then you need to go to the box and, like, you know, examine the golem and, like, you know, oh, it's missing a head, and then you go and get the rock clay thing, you carve it into a head, and then you power it, and then you put it on the golem, and then you power the golem up, and then you will go around the room, you know, making the doors come down. It's very simple of a puzzle, but it takes way too fucking long, because the golem is incredibly fucking slow, like incredibly slow. If a door is on the other side of the room, like, good luck, you're gonna sit there just watching you're gonna lose like a good minute there just watching the golem just walk slowly. Honestly, yeah, outside of that, it's fine, it's whatever. I'm gonna give it a D tier. Next up, lodestone power. I fucking despise this puzzle. It's one of the ones that I usually always skip, even though it actually doesn't take that long. This puzzle takes like, what, 20 to 40 seconds maybe? It's not on the fastest side, but it's also not on the slowest side for sure. But I just hate it. Like, so you have these platforms that you have to sort of jump in, and it's quintessential RuneScape junk, where you just like jump to the platform and then you jump to the platform, and you know, it's like, it's very point and click RuneScape, if you will. And then you have a ball that can go diagonal, because you can't go diagonal, but the ball can. So you have to sort of make your way into the lodestone in the middle of the rune, and power it up with a thing that you picked up at the front of the room, or like when entering the room. And you know, then you do a little happy thing, jump for joy emote, and then you go back, and that's it. Again, fine, I guess. It's a bit janky, not my favorite, and especially the solution is always the same, so it's not like, you know, it varies or it's an actual puzzle. And on top of that, contrary to most puzzles, here, when you actually put the fucking thing in the center, you need to then go back, but you're not just going back, as the ball is still there. Like, the ball that damages you is still there. For some fucking reason. Even though you already completed the puzzle. Yeah, honestly, suggestion for this puzzle, Jagex, just after you complete the puzzle, just get teleported back to the beginning of the room. Why the fuck that isn't the default, I don't know. Same thing with the toxic maze, actually. The toxic maze, once you get to the middle, right, and you get the chest, you then have to go, like, obviously the barriers get removed, like the little obstacles get removed, but you need to go through the fucking barriers to the door again, and that takes like an extra fucking 20 seconds. It's really annoying to complete puzzles and then just like having to go back and make your way back, but at least on the toxic maze, A, you can just skip the maze if there's no keys in the middle, and B, you know, it's not like the fucking damage doesn't continue after you've completed it. Here, yeah, honestly, vibes alone, F tier. Next up, we have the collapsing room, so the room full of debris. Honestly, it's just like, it's fine, just you go in, click on the rocks, mine the rocks, and then you fix the beams, which is something that I didn't know you could do. I always thought this room was, you go away and clear the debris, and then you need to clear the next debris fast enough to not get a rock falling on you. You can just fucking fix the beam, so, like the support beam, and then you don't actually have any rocks falling on you anymore. I just accidentally hovered it once and saw the icon change, and I was like, wait, what's that? And yeah, honestly, that could have been made clearer in my opinion in this puzzle, because I fucking bet there's not a lot of people that know that. But yeah, honestly, it's a fine room, it's a C tier, I guess. Next up we have the winch bridge. I fucking hate this thing as well. You know, you need to go get to a crate to get like this fucking, you know, imp thing, and then a broken fucking, another crate to get a broken like grapple, and then you need to fix the grapple, you need to get some rope, and then you need to put them together, and then you need to attach them into the grapple place, and then you need to, you know, get the winch, like fucking roll the winch in order to actually get a bridge to fucking, you know, like lay the bridge out, and then you can go to the next fucking room, Horrible fucking room, takes way too fucking long, honestly. I mean, it doesn't take too long, but it feels like it takes fucking ages. And on top of that, it has like fucking 5 different skill shacks. So you have smithing, you have crafting, you have ranged, and then you have strength in one room. And the worst part is, contrary to other puzzle rooms, you know, because, you know, let's say that, you know, if you're doing, for example, the fucking, you know, let's say the food ferret, right? Let's say you're doing that room, and you go and fish the fish, and you're like, oh, you need level fucking 135 fishing to fish from here, right? The Gratian outfit can just skip the room anyway, as can the lock melter, I'm pretty sure, right? Because since it gives you the ability to skip one room, you can skip rooms that are too slow, or rooms they don't have the level 2. Here, nope. This is one of the few puzzle rooms that if you don't have levels, the door is on the other side and there's no fucking way to get to that. Yeah, I don't know why some rooms you can skip them and others you can't. It's fucking annoying as shit. I think Jagex should change that, but overall, F tier. Next up we have Ramuki Familiars. Essentially it's a room where you go in, there's Ramuki like death slingers, and you know, they heal and they have all like types of combat styles and whatnot. Overall, this room as a low level, I think it'd be interesting to like try and survive. As a high level, it's just another guardian room where you go in, blast everyone and move on to the next room. So I like the idea, I like the familiars, but overall, it's a C tier. Next up we have the Mercenary Leader. Honestly, same thing as the Ramuki Familiars, with the only difference that you will have mages and like fucking ranged, you know, just mostly humanoids, and you have a Mercenary Leader that once you go in and attack, because oh, it's only a one monster and then other monsters spawn. High level, you blast through them. C tier. Next up we have the Fremennik Camp. Essentially this is another skill check, so you need to like build supplies because it's a Fremennik camp or whatever, right? Yeah, you just go in, you click on the spots and you go in. It's less than 10 seconds, incredibly simple, unless you don't have the skill levels, because there's 3 skill checks: fletching, smithing and cooking, and if you don't have one of them, yeah, remember when I said that you can like skip this room if you don't have the level? For some fucking reason, some rooms can't be skipped, like the winch bridge, because you can't get to the door. The Fremennik camp, on the other hand, you can get to the door, but you cannot fucking skip the room for some reason. Like your skip just doesn't work on the fucking room. Like, I don't understand this inconsistency, but I find it weird, but okay. Overall, just I mean, look, if you do have the levels, it's pretty fast, so I'm gonna put it B tier. I also find the room kinda cozy. Next up we have the Running Ferret. Yeah, this is like the third ferret room. Yeah, you just sort of, you have a ferret that runs around the room, going into holes and then spawning from holes, and you sort of need to make traps to like try and lure the ferret there and trap it. If you're good enough, you can just surge or escape into next to the ferret and then click to catch the ferret, and then you just catch it, and that's pretty easy. You can also like try and lure it like next to a wall, and then as the ferret goes, because the ferret doesn't see you, as the ferret like crosses the wall, you can click it. Sometimes, however, the ferret bites you for no fucking reason. This room can be hilarious, but it can take you, oh my god, so long. This can be like a run killer sometimes in terms of PVs. So yeah, overall, honestly, I'm just gonna put it with the rest of the ferrets. Let's give it a B tier. Next up we have the Ramuki Riddle. Essentially you have a Ramuki like familiar and you get a riddle from them. You need a summoning level to actually comprehend them. I found that out the hard way. But yeah, they will give you a riddle, and then there's plenty of items in the room that you have to get to show, and incredibly fast, super easy. You know, yeah, it's fine. Honestly, you know what? I'm gonna give it a B tier. Next up we have the barrel puzzle. Essentially you have to push some barrels and then go get the key on the back side of the room, and for doing that you need to sacrifice one of the chests in the room because you'll block it with the barrel. I don't think people ever use those chests most of the time, so great. But then you fix the barrel, and then there's streams of water that you need to push the barrel and pull the barrel to like fill in the barrel, and then you have to push it to a pressure plate to unlock the room. This fucking thing is pretty much the monolith in terms of being, you know, just a like outro scroller with the exception that at least the monolith is a bit more chill. The barrel just need to constantly pay attention to the fucking water streams and like move the barrel around and whatnot. Kind of annoying, so kind of slow, F tier. Next step, the agility obstacles. So essentially there's a room that has agility obstacles that you need to go through. Pretty easy, doesn't take too long. It is a bit annoying to go and unlock the door on the other side, but I mean, it's pretty fast, you just move around. Sometimes though, and I must say, and this is also a problem that the barrel puzzle has, which is if you click to walk to a place, sometimes your character will get confused and will fuck up the pathing. So in the barrel puzzle, when you go and pick up the key, if you then click on the other side of the wall, your character will path to the fucking blocked barrels, and only when it gets there will it path backwards to actually get out from where it came from. Bit annoying. Sometimes that happens with the agility obstacles where you click on one side and then your character starts going back for some fucking reason. So yeah, but outside of that, it's a fine room. Honestly, it's pretty decent. Doesn't take too long. Yeah, sit here. Next up, we have the Keystone Bridge. It's like there's like 4 different bridge types, 5 different bridge types maybe. Like I know there's the Keystone Rig, the Broken Plank, there's the Statue Bridge, there's the Grapple Tightrope Bridge, and then there's a fucking Winch Bridge. Yeah, and is there any more fucking bridges? There's like 5 bridges, I'm pretty sure. So yeah, the Keystone one is just you mine a thing and then you craft it into a keystone and then you place it and then you just move on. Pretty easy, pretty fast, doesn't take too long. A tier. Next up we have the Broken Plank Bridge. Another bridge. Essentially the only difference is that on this one you actually jump to the other side, gather some planks and then put the planks on the bridge so people can cross. You don't actually need to do that, as you can always just jump to the other side with agility, so if you have that you probably most of the times will just use that. Still, I guess, nice thought. A tier. Next up, the Blood Fountain, or at least that's what I call it. You have 4 pillars, there's some rubble, you need to fix the pillars and clear the rubble in order to have a fountain so spring a red liquid, which I guess it's blood. Doesn't take too long, not much of an hassle, looks kinda cool, honestly. A tier. Next up we have the Grapple Tightrope. Essentially it's the same shit as the Winch Bridge. The only difference is that instead of having a strength shack where you pull the bridge, you actually go through the grapple with an agility shack. Ironically, because you don't need to see the bridge fucking animation and then running over it, the Grapple Tightrope is a bit faster, just a tiny bit faster, because you do still need to watch the animation of you going over the tightrope, which is very similar to watching the bridge. But yeah, overall, very much dislike it, F tier. Next up, the Statue Bridge, another fucking bridge. Essentially, you know, you mine something, but instead of making it into a keystone like you do with the Keystone Bridge, you actually fix a statue and then you push the statue onto the pressure plate and the bridge will come to you and you can just cross. Again, it's pretty easy, pretty fast. Sure, I'll put it aside the others, A tier. Next up we have the Poltergeist. Essentially this is, I don't even know the fucking difference between this and Sad Ghost. They're essentially the same, they're the ghost with a coffin in the middle. I think Poltergeist is the one that has like the herbs, if I'm not mistaken. Where like you need to read the inscription to know which herb you need to put on the burners, and then you need to cleanse the herbs, and then you need to put them on the burners and light the herbs, and then you have to open the coffin and bless the remains, and that's it. Sad Ghost is pretty much the same shit, except you actually get a ring from the floor, put it in the jewelry box, fix a pillar, and fix some vase or whatever, and yeah, that's pretty much it. Honestly, overall, they're very fucking similar. They're actually not that fast, or they're not that slow, rather, they're actually kinda fast, so I can't blame them too much, but yeah, overall, you can still, like, here is when you can see that Jagex was kind of running out of ideas. Still, I think it's like a good B tier. Yeah, so essentially I already explained, B tier, again. So colored pillars, so these are the pillars, like this is the room where you have the pillars that you need to put on top of certain colored like panels, and then you need to go to the wall and mix the things together and apply them to pillars, and that's it. Not very inspiring, I would say. It's again really annoying, just like with the other statue fucking puzzles, where if there's enemies in the room, you can't like slide the fucking statues because there's enemies impeding your way. That's kind of annoying. So yeah, I guess edit here. Next up we have flower roots. Essentially there's a flower in the middle of the room with a color, and there's like small flowers, and then they change colors over time, and then you need to cut the flower where it matches the big flower, and then you uproot the big flower and all of the flowers die and the room can proceed. Again, pretty much like the winch bridge. If you don't have the level, the farming level or the woodcutting level for them, GG, pretty much, you can't skip the room. As you can't actually travel further into it or anything like that. Overall, I actually like the room. I like the ending animation of all of the flowers dying, and I think it's a fine puzzle. I think it's a fine room. It doesn't take... I mean, it kinda takes a little bit, it's on the slower side, but still, it's a fine puzzle. Honestly, I like it. It's not good for grinding the skill, because it is on the slower side and it's a bit kind of annoying sometimes. But I like the puzzle a lot. I'm really biased towards this one, so I'm gonna give it an A tier. Next up we have the specific puzzle that only appears on occult floors, the colored bookcases. So essentially there's 4 bookcases and there's 4 like library thing books on the wall, and you have books flying between them, and then you need to match them. So you need to have bookcases looking at each other so they fly books into each other, so you change, you know, the books from place to place, and then you match all of them to open the door. Overall, it's actually on the really slow side. This might be... I don't think it's the slowest. I think it depends a lot on RNG as well, but it's amongst the slowest rooms. However, I like the idea, and honestly, I like the vibes of the colored bookcases rooms. I think it's one of the better puzzle rooms when it comes to vibes, so... You know, I'm gonna spare it everything and I'm gonna put it on C tier. And lastly, you have the teleporting maze that only appears in the warped floors. Essentially, you go in and depending on, like, you have 4 portals in each room and you have to sort of figure out which portals link to where. It's essentially this maze is the exact same one from the Fremennik Trials quest. The one where you need to, like, the one that you do with a navigator, where you have like four portals in each room and you need to find like the correct way to link, because each portal will teleport you to a room, and then, you know, like so essentially until you get to the center, same shit. Problems with this puzzle: A, you always take damage for every fucking room they go, or every portal they go through, which is really stupid, and B, you actually need multiple people to be there. So essentially, if you are in a dungeon that has multiple people, everyone needs to be on a pressure plate in order to get the room completed, which is really fucking stupid for some reason. Like, just allow me to do the room normally, I guess. But honestly, it's on warped floors, and warped floors look really cool, and honestly, you can get really lucky, do it really fast. So with that, I'm gonna put it in D tier. And that's our list, honestly. All 40 puzzles ranked. And you can clearly see where I skew more. Yeah, there's a lot of puzzles in Dungeoneering. I think that Dungeoneering could do with less puzzles, in my opinion. I think there's way, or you know what? Make more puzzles. You know, but more unique ones and whatnot. I do think that a lot of puzzles, especially, should you should at least like get rewards, like you would do for like ice tiles, for example. You know, oh, the Gratian outfit allows you to just not slide, meaning that this puzzle essentially becomes like useless. I think that should exist for like a lot of puzzles, where like you just gain a reward from the skill itself that allows you to have a lot of easier time in these puzzles. You know, like maybe a permanent grapple, so you can do these two, you know, without having to continuously fix the grapple type thing, as you have like this special grapple. You know, just things of the sorts to make some of these puzzles easier, because a lot of these puzzles are incredibly slow. You know, like 1 minute might not seem like a lot, but when you have so many rooms to like go through, 1 minute is quite a lot, right? The average Dungeoneering room is like 10-20 seconds. You know, a minute is a lot, you know, so ultimately, yeah, I skew more towards the not liking a lot of the puzzles than liking them, and the puzzles that I do like are puzzles that are usually fast, they're easy, or they just have good vibes like the flower roots. So yeah, that's pretty much my list. I'm gonna leave the link in the description for you to do yours, and the next week we should have another tier list, but this time is a much better one. It's the long-awaited music tier list part 6, so we're getting to the end there, and yeah, I'll see you then.